Hello everyone and welcome to Riordanverse News, your one-stop spot for everything Riordanverse, whether it be books or adaptation. This is the place you want to be, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell before we go any further, because we've got a bit of news today, so let's get into it. Now this week is a little bit of a mishmash of news, nothing really adaptation wise, but there is a lot of stuff we need to get through. So first I'm going to start with some of the lighter news. First up we have a new one for the Lightning Thief musical. It's another student production, and this time it is in New York, in Hastings-on-Hudson. Seriously, loving the fact that more student musicals are being put on for the Lightning Thief, and like I said last time, I really hope more comes to the UK as well, because I would really love to see a Percy Jackson musical, because I never even got to see the original Percy Jackson musical, and yes, I'm still bitter. Next up, we got an update from Roseanne Brown, the author of So Boteng, the upcoming Rick Riordan Presents book, and they have two updates on their Twitter page. First up is that 2022 is now their red hair era, and she's going to make it everyone's problem. And then number two, of course, the main part of the news is that Rick Riordan thinks that their writing is full of lyrical power, wit and empathy. So, you know, they're screaming, crying, throwing up and all that sort of good stuff. And I'm also going to pop up the piece itself. So I believe this is probably going to be the opening editor's note. So Rick has been putting sort of like an editor's note at the start of every Rick Riordan Presents book, kind of talking about how amazing it is, and it's possibly one, maybe it's the review that also goes up on like Goodreads and stuff like that, but it's basically a huge endorsement from Rick of this story, and I love that. You know, I really hope more people are picking up the Rick Riordan Presents books in most recent years, and if you haven't already, be sure to go check out So Boteng, which is coming soon. I don't have the date yet, but it will be linked in the description box, and I can't remember if pre-orders are up now or yet. Yes, I know I should have had this information before, but you'll get it afterwards in the description box. So either pre-order now or, you know, I'll let you know when pre-orders are up if they're not out already. And the final sort of good one for Rick Riordan based news is that there is a new post up on the Read Riordan website, which is to do with Raina and her Pegasi. So if you like Raina and if you like Pegasi, that will be linked in the description box down below. But now to get into something I suppose is a little bit more serious. Now, most people who may be living in the US are probably a little bit more aware of this than anyone outside of the US. But currently going on in Florida and even Texas as well, but particularly Florida in this case, there is what is being labelled the Don't Say Gay bill, which entails basically removing all education and discussion of same-sex relationships and queer people. And unfortunately, it has come out that Disney has actually, or at least people within Disney, have been funding those who are heading up the bill of the Don't Say Gay bill. And what that basically means is Disney is funding, you know, removal of discussions of gay people. And of course, a lot of people who work at Disney and people who love Disney are from all ranges of genders, sexualities and all these sort of things. So to know that Disney themselves are involved in funding this bill, which currently I believe has passed in the Senate, which is awful to hear. But the fact that Disney are funding support for this bill, which isn't supportive or even, but it doesn't even, basically has called queer people groomers in one point or molesters in another, but it's basically this horrific thing in Florida and Disney is supporting it. You know, it's disappointing, but I honestly can't say I'm not surprised that Disney is the one behind this, because we've seen the lack of, you know, support for the queer community and the barely even their representation they try to say is this huge big deal. But fortunately, Disney staff are actually speaking out, you know, to their own possible detriment where it could cost them their careers. But Disney workers are speaking out about the horrific reality that Disney is, you know, promoting this bill that is anti-queer people. And just to put up a few things here, so this is a tweet from Ryan Aguirre, and I apologise if I'm saying that last name incorrectly. It says, in the Disney shareholder meeting, Bob Chapek just said he talked to Governor Ron DeSantis, who assured him that the law would not be used to weaponize against the LGBTQ+ community. And for the first time in a long time, I am at a loss for words, because, well, the fact that one of the people in charge of Disney is speaking to the person who's heading up this bill and is also talking absolute bollocks, because this bill does actively hurt queer people. And, you know, it's basically making nowhere safe for queer kids or queer families. And we've had someone who is from the Disney publishing side, someone called Rebeccacuss, who has said, "I love working at Disney, and I especially love the authors I work with, but it's hard right now. It's hard to be a queer person at this company and know that Disney values the money I spend as a consumer more than it values me as a person and as an employee." And that is basically the reality here at this moment, is that there are a lot of queer people who work at Disney. And to know that this, and obviously, of course, we've got the capitalism pride that Disney does, where they have like a Pride Month where they make all these Disney merch in Pride. But it's literally just for capitalism. It's to make money off of us and then discard us the moment they don't need us anymore. And the fact that they're supporting this bill is even more clear cut, that they really don't care about us. They care more about our money, as Rebecca said. They care more about our money than us as people. But what I'm really happy to say, and where this ties into the Riordanverse situation, is that a lot of the Rick Riordan Presents authors have been speaking out in support of those employees. We have one here from Carlos Hernandez, who is the writer of Sal and Gabby, saying to Rebecca, saying, "So sorry about this. You can at least know that your authors and fellow editors at RRP are 1000% behind you. Here's hoping that the execs actually read/watch their own content and learn from it, so they don't act this way in the future." And, you know, I'm glad to see that there is a lot of support from RIP authors to, you know, for this whole situation. So we've got Carlos there. I know Daniel Jose Older has been speaking out in support. I know Rosie Rambles. Basically, all the RIP authors that I'm following and know of have been speaking out in support of those people who work at Disney, who are, you know, quite rightly feeling, you know, horrified at this situation and realising that Disney really does not care about them as people. So, due to the fact that obviously Percy Jackson is going to be a Disney adaptation, unfortunately, I don't really know much that we can do. I'm going to be looking, whilst I'm editing this and going to be posting this out, for ways to speak out against this bill and see if there's ways and, you know, petitions or anything like that could be used to support against it. But I know there's been lots of walkouts at schools in Florida, so if you have the means, be sure to take part in that. Be vocally, you know, against what's going on here and speak out against it if you can, and, you know, it's safe for you to do so. But Disney has to pay attention to the damage that they're doing. They try and claim that they're this, you know, open space for the queer community, whilst actively hurting the queer community at the exact same time. And considering, obviously, we have quite a few queer characters in the Riordanverse, and if Disney is going to be involved in this adaptation, how's that going to go? So, you know, it's a lot of things to take into consideration. So, if you can speak out, speak out. If you can act, act. And, you know, keep the word going that, you know, say no to the Don't Say Gay bill. And, yeah, that's basically, I know it's like a sad note to end on here, but it's something I thought was really important to bring up because it's a huge thing going at the moment. And the RRP authors have been speaking out about it as well as Becky Riordan, I believe, as well. I'll put that up here if I can find that tweet. But, you know, it's important. You know, the queer community is a community that's already struggling with so many things going on in the US and even here in the UK, that we need more support to stop, you know, our rights being taken away from us, from, you know, people to stop treating us like we're abnormal and like we're wrong to be learnt about. It's just, yeah, sorry, I'm going to end here. All the information for all these sort of stuff is going to be in the description box. If you can do anything, please do. As always, this has been your weekly Riordanverse news here on the channel. I know there wasn't really much Riordanverse related news this week, but hopefully there'll be more next week. And of course, the Don't Say Gay bill is an incredibly important thing to talk about. So I hope you appreciate what I've been doing here. Like I said, yes, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out all the links for that sort of stuff in the description box down below. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.